In this lecture, we are going to discuss the topic the method of false position. This method is also called regular falsy method and it can be used to find the approximate root of an equation. In the bisection method, we found that each successive approximations brackets the root p of the given equation. The bisection method is actually a root finding problem of equations of this form f of x equals 0. So in that bisection method, we found that each successive approximations brackets a root p of this equation f of x equals 0. That is, if you are taking any successive pair of approximations, then the root of the equation lies between that two points. That means for each positive integer n, a root lies between an and bn. That is, p belongs to the interval an, bn. So from that, it implies that the bisection method satisfies this inequality. That is, absolute value of pn minus p is less than 1 by 2 into absolute value of an minus bn, where p is the actual root, pn is the nth approximation of the root, and this inequality provides an error bound for the approximation. But in the case of Newton's method or secant method, this root bracketing is not guaranteed. That is, the root may not be contained in the interval with the successive approximations. For example, in the previous lectures, we applied the Newton's method and secant method for the equation f of x is equal to cos x minus x. So there we obtained the approximations as this. This is for Newton's method and this is for secant method. In Newton's method, it was P naught, this P1, this is P2, P3 and P4, and an approximate root is found to be this one, 0.739085133. From this table we can see that this P3 is not bracketed by either P0 and P1 or P1 and P2. That is, this approximate root is not lies between these 2 points or between these 2 points. But in the secant method, we have this is P0, this is P1, this is P2, P3, P4 and P5. So P5 is found to be the approximate root for this equation. From this table we can see that this P5, that is the approximate root, is lies between these 2 points, but it is not lies between these 2 points P2 and P3. It's not lies between these 2 points, but this root is lies between these 2 points. Now the method of false position, or it's also called regular falsy, generates approximations in the same manner as that of secant method, but it includes a test to ensure that the root is always bracketed between successive approximations. That is, the method of finding the approximate root of the equation by method of false position is same as the method of secant method, but in regular falsy method or method of false position, it includes a test to ensure that the root is always lies between the successive approximated roots. That means, suppose we have the approximated roots P0, P1, P2, P3, etc. and let P be the actual root of this equation f of x is equal to 0, then P should lies between P0 and P1, and P should lies between P1 and P2, P should lies between P2 and P3, etc. That is, the root is always bracketed between successive iterations. Now, steps in regular falsy method. Suppose we need to find the approximated root of the equation f of x equal to 0. Let p be the actual root of the equation. First, we need to choose initial approximations p0 and p1 such that f of p0 into f of p1 is less than 0. That is, f of p0 and f of p1 are of opposite signs. Next step is to find the approximation p2, the second approximation p2. So it is chosen in the same manner as in the secant method as the x-intercept of the line joining p0 f of p0 and p1 f of p1. That is by using the formula pn is equal to pn minus 1 minus f of pn minus 1 into pn minus 1 minus pn minus 2 divided by f of pn minus 1 minus f of Pn minus 2. That is the formula in the secant method. So to find P2 we can use the same approach as in the secant method. That is P2 is the line joining or x-intercept of the line joining of the points P1, P0 f of P0 and P1 f of P1. So the next step is to find P3, that is the third approximate root. For that we need to check the sign of f of P1 and f of P2. That is, consider f of P2 into f of P1. If this is less than 0, we can say that f of P2 and f of P1 are of opposite signs. That is, or we can just check the sign of f of P2 and the sign of f of P1. If sin of f of P2 into sin of f of P1 is less than 0, then we can say that P1 and P2 are of opposite signs. That means the actual root lies between the points P1 and P2. So in that case, we can choose P3 as the x-intercept of the line joining P1 f of P1 and P2 f of P2. That is, if sin of f of P1 into sin of f of P2 is less than 0, or f of P1 into f of P2 is less than 0. Now, if not, that is, if f of P2 and f of P1 are of opposite signs, that is, or if sin of f of P2 into sin of f of P1 is greater than 0, then we can choose P3 as the x-intercept of the line joining P0 f of P0 and P2 f of P2. That is, we are ignoring the point P1. It is because first we have taken P0 and P1 such that f of P0 and f of P1 are of opposite sign. So after obtaining P2, we are checking f of P2 and f of P1. If f of P2 and f of P1 are of opposite sign, we can use these 2 points P1 and P2 to find P3. But if they are not opposite signs, that means if they are of same sign, then we can use this P0 and P2 to find P3. That is, in that case, we will take or consider the P3 as the x-intercept of the line joining P0 f of P0 and P2 f of P2. In a similar manner, once P3 is found, the sign of f of P3 into f of P2 determines whether we use P2 and P3 or P3 and P1 to compute P4. In that manner, we can find the other approximations also. So this is the pictorial representation of secant method and regular falsy method. Here actually in secant method we already discussed that if this is the line or graph of the function f y equal to f of x, our aim is to find the approximate root of f of x equal to 0. So if you are taking P1, P0 is this and P1 is this point. So first to find P2, we are just finding the value of f of P1. So f of P1 will be this. So this point will be P1 comma f of P1. And to find P2, we are considering this is actually the point P0 comma f of P0. So to find P2, we are taking P2 as the x-intercept of this line, that is line joining between these points P0 f of P0 and P1 f of P1, and this is P2. So using this we can find that is the point P2 comma f of P2, and P3 will be considered as the x-intercept of line joining the points P1 comma f of P1 and P2 comma f of P2, etc. So in that case, we obtain the next P3, P4, etc. But here, P4 will be this. That means by finding P3, after finding P3, we have this point is actually P3 comma f of P3. So to find P4, we are taking the P4 as the x-intercept of the line joining P2 comma f of P2 and P3 comma f of P3. That is, this will be that line. So this will be the P4. But in method of false position or method in regular falsy method, we are taken for this same graph. So this is P0, this is P1. So from this we get this is P2, and by using the function value of P2, we have this is P2 comma f of P2, P2 comma f of P2, and this is P1 comma f of P1. So this will be P3. So after finding the P3, we have the function value of P3 will be this, right? So this will be the function value of P3. So from this we can see that this is negative, that is f of P3 is less than 0 and f of P2 is also less than 0. F of P2 is also less than 0. So f of P2 and f of P3 are of same sign. Therefore, f of P2 into f of P3 is greater than 0. It is not less than 0. So we are ignoring the point P2 to find P4. That is, we are taking using P3 and P1. P3 and P1 to find P4. So P1 is actually this point. This point is P1 comma f of P1, and this point is P3 comma f of P3. So we are ignoring P2 because P2 and P3 are the f of P2 and f of P3 are less than 0. That are same sign. So we are ignoring P2. So we can use P1 and that is this P1 and P3 to find P4. So P4 will be considered as the x-intercept of the line joining P1 f of P1 and P3 f of P3. So this will be P4. This point will be P4. But in the case of secant method, it was this. So that is the method. So that means in method of false position, we are ensuring that the root is lies between each pair of the approximated roots. Now we can discuss an example. Use the method of false position to find a solution to the equation x equal to cos x and compare the approximations with those by Newton's method and secant method. Here our equation is cos x equal to x, that is the function f of x equal to cos x minus x, which is equal to 0. So we in the previous lectures we already approximated the roots of this equation by Newton's method and secant method. Now we are going to approximate the roots of this equation by Regula-Falsi method, and we have to compare the result with the approximations by Newton's and the secant's method. So for this, we can take the initial approximation as P naught equal to 0.5 and P1 is equal to pi by 4. Therefore, f of P naught is nothing but f of 0.5, that is equal to cos 0.5 minus 0.5. So this is equal to 0.3775 etc. So which is greater than 0. And f of P1 is f of pi by 4, which is equal to cos pi by 4 minus pi by 4. This is nothing but negative 0.078291 etc. So which is less than 0. So f of P0 is greater than 0 and f of P1 is less than 0. Therefore, we have f of P0 into f of P1 is less than 0. That means the root P lies between the points P0 and P1. Root P lies between the points P0 and P1. So by Regula-Falsi method, we have formula is same as the formula in the secant method. That is Pn is equal to Pn minus 1 f of Pn minus 1 minus f of Pn minus 1 into Pn minus 1 minus Pn minus 2 divided by f of Pn minus 1 minus f of Pn minus 2. So here when n is equal to 2, we taken that P0 is equal to 0.5 and P1 is equal to pi by 4. So when n is equal to 2, we have P2 equal to, from this formula we have P1 minus f of P1 into P1 minus P0 divided by f of P1 minus f of P0. So replacing these values we get P1 is, we know P1 is equal to pi by 4, so pi by 4 minus f of pi by 4 into pi by 4 minus 0.5 f of pi by 4 minus f of 0.5. So this is equal to this, and this the calculating we will get the value of P2 is this. That is the second approximated root is 0.7363841388. This is actually what we obtained in the secant method. So now we have to find the value of f of P2, or we have to find the sign of f of P2. So f of P2 is nothing but f of cos P2 minus P2, because f of x equal to cos x minus x. So replacing this P2 by this, we get the value of cos of this minus this, that is equal to, we will get this by calculation, that is 0.040045177 etc. So which is greater than 0. So we obtained that the previously we have f of P1 is less than 0, and now it is f of P2 is greater than 0. So we have therefore f of P1 into f of P2 is less than 0. Therefore P lies between P1 and P2. where P1 is pi by 4 and P2 is this. So we can use the same formula again for finding P3. So P3 will be equal to, when putting n is equal to 3, we have P3 equal to P2 minus f of P2 into P2 minus P1 divided by f of P2 minus f of P1. So replacing these values in this equation or formula, we'll get the value of P2 as this: 0.7390581392. Therefore, now finding f of P3, we have f of P3 is nothing but cos P3 minus P3, that is cos of this minus this, because we have obtained that P3 equal to this. So the value of f of P3 is nothing but, by calculation we get this as the f of P3. So here we have this is greater than 0. Therefore, actually from the previous one, that is for P2, we have f of P2 is greater than 0. So now also f of P3 is also greater than 0. So we have f of P2 into f of P3 is greater than 0. It is not less than 0. It is not less than 0. So we cannot use P2 and P3, because from this we can see that P is does not lies between P2 and P3. So previously we obtained that f of P1 is less than 0. So f of P1 is less than 0. So we can replace this P2 by P1. So that means from this is actually f of P2 into f of P3 is greater than 0. It is not less than 0. But we have f of P1 into f of P3 is less than 0, because f of P3 is actually greater than 0 and f of P1 is actually less than 0. So f of P1 into f of P3 is less than 0. That means the root P lies between P1 and P3. So we can use these two values in the formula to find P4. So here actually when putting n is equal to 4, we get P4 is equal to P3 minus f of P3. Actually we will get like this: P4 is equal to P3 minus f of P3 into P3 minus P2 divided by f of P3 minus f of P2. This will be the formula to find the P4, but we obtained that the root P lies between P1 and P3, so we can use P1 and P3 to find P4. So this P2 can be replaced by P1, because f of P1 is less than 0 and f of P3 is greater than 0. So we can replace this P1 by P2 by P1. Okay, so this will be the new formula, and replacing the values of P1 and P3 here, we will get P4. So after that, if after obtaining P4, you have to find f of P4, and we need to check what is the sign of this P4. This is less than 0 or greater than 0, and then we have to find a P5, etc. Continuing in this way, you will get the remaining iterations like this. So you can verify this. This is for false position, this is for secant method, and this is for Newton's method. These two we are verified in the previous lectures. So you just verify this method also. From Newton's method, we obtained that P3 is this is P0, P1, P2, P3. P3 is the approximate root, and from secant method we obtained that the this root is obtained in this, that is as P5, and for this false position, method of false position, we obtained the same root in sixth iteration, that is as P6. So you can just verify these iterations.